it's Pearl again, and today I'm talking about the magic of timing. Yes, time, space. What was the other one? I don't know, something else. These are all things where magic happens. And if you don't know why I'm talking about magic so much, you can check it out on Migraine Magic. But really, it's just about reclaiming that word, magic, and the special things that happen that are just, I don't know, magical. And it's one of those funny things. I thought I'd just include my little calendar right up here. Can you see it? Can I get that's my calendar right there. You probably can't see. So I bought a calendar and I thought, you know what? I want to start doing things. I want to do live events and I'm going to do one a month and it's going to be all this. So I bought the calendar and I put big X, each month where I'm booking something in. So this month it's Fear of Success instructor training. Next month I'm doing a free for all explore in central London. If you want to join me, all the details are on Eventbrite. I'll put the details down here. So, we kind of often we have this plan, don't we? We're like, I'm going to do this, and it's going to happen then, and it's going to be this. And then, of course, everything's happening at once. And a lot of the stuff that's happening is stuff I've been working on for more than a year. And it's all just kind of coming together. So a really exciting thing that happened this week is an app launched called the Enough app, which is You Are Enough. And it's so exciting and the launch is going really, really well. I'll drop the link down here. And it's something I've been working on for a really long time, recording these meditations and mindfulness practices that you can do with the app. And, this whole process is doing this stuff during lockdown, when we first started, and having certain restrictions and me shielding, that kind of thing. It's been really tough. Instead of being able to get in a room with people, it's all been, sitting here, with the little sound shield set up and recording on the Blue Yeti and, sometimes feeling very, very alone doing that. And then it's just wonderful when it all comes together and it launches and it's going really well. And there's a great video as well. I hope you go and check out the video. I really love it. And of course, that suddenly happened this week. I've got my instructor training, my first live training in years is next week. I've got a book that's probably coming out in the next week. It's a notebook. And also I'm going to have a new website that's basically, I've just got the go ahead to finish it off this week. So this thing about the magic of timing, and, I talk about this in one of my practical trainings videos, and it's so important. It's sometimes in terms of success and fear of success, we work so hard, you work so hard and we're really trying to make things happen. And sometimes it just feels like you get a no, a no, a no, a no. Or no matter what we do, it doesn't seem to work out. And sometimes that is because it is not the right time. And it's hard because the ego will use that as an excuse as well to stop us from doing things. But we know in our hearts that there are times when everything happens. It's like harvest time. And I always say, you can be the best blackberry picker in the world, but you go out to the fields and you try and pick some blackberries in January, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And one of the things about being, going to pick blackberries is often you go out, you check the fields, you check the blackberries, you go out again, not quite right. Then you go out and you check, you feel like a real idiot. And then you go out and it's all covered in amazing blackberries. And that's your moment, that's your time. That's your time to go and pick the blackberries, make the blackberry and apple pie, stick them in the freezer, all that kind of stuff, because that's what nature is. That's what life is like. And that's the magic, the magic of life is that we're not robots. And each week is not the same. Each month is not the same. Each season is not the same. But if we go into sort of a very, what's the word? I would like to say the word mathematical, but I don't really think it is mathematical. But we go into this idea of that, there are 365 days in a year and we can plan things out and da-da-da-da. But you know what? There's magic that's got to happen as well. There's a magic of things growing, the magic of things ripening, even relationships. Some people are never going to be your customers until they've thought about it. Maybe overnight, maybe for 2 minutes, maybe for 2 years. And I always remember I did this launch event at a studio when I was teaching. And I mean, it was a great event because so many people came. I think we got mentions in the newspapers. I did a shop, we sold stuff. But I remember just feeling, and we handed out so many leaflets. But I remember at the end, it was like I think I had like an offer, and it was like, oh, sign people up to start the classes at the studio. And I don't think anybody signed up. They all came, they saw it, oh, this is lovely, but this is not the right space for us. You know, we love this and we'd love to come to another party, you know, here and all this, but we're not going to come like to the weekly classes. So I started off with the goal of, okay, I'm going to get, you know, people signed up to do the class, to launch the studio. And I was very focused on that, but it just wasn't the right time, the right place for people. And I remember the guy that ran the studio, he was very pushy. Love you. But he was very like one of those people that's like a fitness instructor. He's like, no, you've got to go and hand out leaflets. You've got to invite everyone you know. You've got to get people here. You've got to get people signed up. And he was pushy. And so when we didn't get all these people signed up, I thought, oh, he's going to give me such a hard time. He's going to give me a really hard time. And he didn't. He was actually really good. And he said to me, he said, you know, it went really well. You did really well with everything. He said, you know what? He said, I've had people, he said, when I've done an event like this, and, you know, he said, you give them a leaflet, he said, and it will sit on their fridge for at least a year. It will sit on the fridge for at least a year until they come and decide to try the class. But you've got to plant the seeds. You've got to plant the seeds because it takes time for things to germinate. You know, it takes time for things to grow. And I always talk about the acorn and the oak tree, you know, that the acorn becomes the oak tree. And every step of that journey is perfect. But it takes so much and it takes time. It takes time. So I'm not saying you should sit around and wait. I say get on and do it. Plant the seeds, get on with it. But don't feel bad if you don't feel like you get like an instant success, okay? Because sometimes it's all happening under the surface, like the soil. It's all happening even in people's subconscious where they're thinking about, oh, okay, maybe I want to read that book, maybe. And it's working. Or just other things are happening outside in the world where people are doing stuff that has nothing to do with you until it becomes everything to do with you. And that's when it's your moment. You've got to get out and do it. One last thing. Okay, this is a bit naughty. I'm going to say it anyway, right? I haven't actually watched the video, but I've been told by a few people about the moment where King Charles met Liz Truss. And apparently he said, dear, oh dear. You know, which is something that I don't think kings or queens are meant to say when they meet the Prime Minister. But the way I looked at it and what it really sort of made me think about was, he's somebody who has been waiting to be king for a very long time. And what he's been doing, and you can see in all of his work, he's working with charities, doing a lot of things, and he has been practicing to be ready for this moment. And then you got Liz Truss as a Prime Minister who has obviously wanted this role, wanted to be Prime Minister, but maybe hasn't really spent the time preparing and practicing for the opportunity. So I always say, you know, if you're not sure what you're doing, sometimes what you're doing is you're being like an understudy. You're practicing, you're rehearsing, you're getting ready for that big, you know, stage-like moment when it's your moment and you get ready and you go out. And so sometimes that's our focus, that needs to be our focus, that we just need to get really, really good at what we're doing for the moment, for the time, for our time when it really, really comes. Anyway, it's very exciting. I hope you're having a wonderful time. It's a Friday. I hope you're enjoying your life and you're enjoying everything that's going on in your life. And I hope everything, well, I know everything's going to come to you at the right time. So I hope you just enjoy the time. You know, if it's not a crazy busy time, I hope you enjoy the moments in between, you know. Take care. See you soon. Bye.